Glory to God in the highest.
Hi, thanks for tuning in again to our daily inspiration. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. And hopefully what we've put together for you here, you'll find them edifying. And what I'd like to do in this video is share something from Father Joseph Iannuzzi as he addresses some of the common myths and truths pertaining to hauntings. We know a lot, and I mean a lot of people watch a lot of videos of those people who go to abandoned houses, hospitals, buildings, searching for paranormal activities. So with this video, hopefully for those of you who love watching that kind of shows and videos, the information provided by Father Iannuzzi here for all of us will in some ways bring much better understanding on the whole thing, and why those who love to do this kind of thing shouldn't do them anymore.
Now, let me address some of the common myths and truths pertaining to hauntings, necromancy, which is invoking the dead, seances, things like that, that are becoming more and more a fad on primetime television. You have these people who call themselves channelers, mediums, psychics, right? Well, a lot of the things I see on there is false. Most of it is false. Some of it is true. Let's begin with a few questions that were sent to me and that I wish to share with you. Can someone invoke the dead? Can someone wish to get in contact with one of their loved ones who has died to find out where they are, what they're doing? Is that good? And the answer to that is found in the Bible. The Mosaic law forbade necromancy. Necromancy is invoking the dead and made it punishable by death. Leviticus 20:27, 1 Samuel 28:9. Now, the Mosaic law forbade it in Leviticus 19:31, 26, 20 verse 6, Deuteronomy 18:11 and 12. And the Church acknowledges that with a special permission of God, the souls of the departed may appear to the living. But this is always at God's initiative, whereas the science of evoking the dead, necromancy, is not of God's initiative, and therefore it remains open to deception and always exposes one to the possibility of demonic influence. Do you know that film, The Exorcism by Peter Blatty, where that Linda Blair played the part of which in reality was a boy, not a girl, that occurred in Washington, D.C.? I went there actually to the house when I gave a retreat there. That all began with a boy playing with a Ouija board. He didn't mean anything bad. He was just curious. All it took was that curiosity for him to be possessed. So when he went to bed, strange noises began in the attic. Then his bed started to shake, even without a bedboard. What do you call that? A box spring that goes under the mattress? His mattress was on the cement floor in the pastor's house. The pastor said to the mother, "Let him sleep here the evening and let me see what happens." The mattress started to bounce with the boy on it, and the pastor got so scared, he told the boy to leave. Okay, all that started out of curiosity of invoking the dead through a Ouija board. Now, another case is of hauntings. Is it possible for the dead to roam the earth or a locale unaware that they are dead? I hear this sometimes. He doesn't know he's dead. She doesn't know she's dead. Well, this is a myth. The Church's councils of Lyon and Florence declared that immediately, and the word they use is mox, M-O-X, immediately after death, the soul is judged and goes to its eternal destiny of salvation or damnation. That is either purgatory, heaven, or hell. So there's no teaching that comes from the Church or that comes from Scripture where a person dies and doesn't know they're dead. I think it's kind of offensive for someone to be told that someone's dead and they don't know it. If it's a man, all he has to do is reach for his wallet and finds it's not there, he knows he's dead. Something's missing that's important in my life here. Sorry to be a little bit cheeky here, but there's truth to this. The dead go immediately to their place of judgment. Now, however, there are hauntings in places, absolutely. But this does not mean the dead do not go to purgatory, heaven, or hell. They do, but they bilocate, all right? This is important. The same dynamism occurs in the apparitions of Mary, Jesus, and saints. While it is true that immediately after death the soul is judged, God may in special circumstances forestall its judgment on account of the sacraments. The old 1912 Code of Canon Law allowed up to 2 hours for the priest to give extreme unction after the person's death. Also, we recall the case of Lazarus, right? He died, but he wasn't judged because God knew that he would be resurrected. So this was a special case where a person died, but they were not judged immediately. But this is not the norm. Also, we recall several saints, like Vincent Ferrer, who called people back to life. These people were not judged, therefore. There are over 400 documented cases of saints that raise the dead, and these include children, unbaptized infants, persons executed for crimes, persons raised to testify in criminal cases or to testify to some religious truth. And as I mentioned, they include Vincent Ferrer, St. Francis de Sales, Louisa Picaretta, Blessed Cadog. I'm sorry, not Francis de Sales, Francis of Assisi. Jesus commanded these saints to do this in Matthew's Gospel, chapter 18, verse 8. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse those who have leprosy, drive out demons. Freely you have received, freely give.
For the second part of this video, I'll share something about Padre Pio, who asked that his brothers pray for his soul, and that he was no stranger to the souls in purgatory. In fact, he said that more souls of the dead than of the living climbed this mountain to attend my masses and to seek my prayers. He told stories of souls who had come to him in visible human form to ask for his intercession. He mystically understood what kinds of sins brought people to purgatory. Padre Pio was so busy trying to empty purgatory that, for those who knew him, it must have seemed that he would never need to land there himself. But still, he asked for prayers for his soul. He knew that he sinned, and even if he went straight to heaven, those prayers would never be wasted. Other souls in purgatory could benefit from the offering. It is a comfort to us on earth when a loved one dies to think that the person is in heaven. This consolation is real and sweet. It is right and good for us to hope for heaven. But we must not forget what Padre Pio understood. Death is not always a free pass to heaven. In order to get there, many souls need the gift of our prayers. And Padre Pio reminds us that it is never too late to pray, whether a person died recently or long ago. For the Lord, everything is an eternal present. Those prayers had already been taken into account, so that even now I can pray for the happy death of my great-grandfather. And here's a story that I'd like to share with you. He was alone in prayer when a man appeared out of nowhere. One day, while praying alone, Padre Pio opened his eyes to see an old man standing there. He was surprised by the presence of another person in the room and explained in his testimony, "I could not imagine how he could have entered the friary at this time of night, since all the doors were locked." Seeking to unravel the mystery, he asked the man, "Who are you? What do you want?" The man responded, "Padre Pio, I died in this friary on the 18th of September 1908, in cell number 4, when it was still a poorhouse. One night, while in bed, I fell asleep with a lighted cigar. The mattress caught fire and I died a terrible death. I am still in purgatory. I need a holy mass in order to be freed. God permitted that I come and ask you for help." And Padre Pio comforted the poor soul by saying, "Rest assured that tomorrow I will celebrate Mass for your liberation." The man left, and the next day, Padre Pio did some investigative work, discovering that a man of the same name died on that day in 1908. Everything was confirmed, and Padre Pio celebrated a Mass for the repose of the man's soul. This was not the only appearance of a soul from purgatory asking Padre Pio for prayers. He claimed, as many souls of the dead come up this road to the monastery as souls of the living. Many times the souls would ask for a Mass to be said for them, highlighting the spiritual weight of a Mass and how it can lessen the time a person spends in purgatory before embracing the glories of heaven. And here's another story. One night Padre Pio was alone, and he saw a friar cleaning the altar late at night. And Padre Pio asked him to go to bed since it was so late. And the man said, "I'm a friar like you. When assigned to take care of the altar, I passed in front of the tabernacle many times without making the proper reverence. For this sin I am in purgatory, and the Lord sent me to you. You decide how much longer I have to suffer in those flames." And Padre Pio then told him he must remain in purgatory until the Mass in the morning, to which the man responded, cruel, and disappeared. I still have a wound in my heart. I could have sent him immediately to paradise. Instead, he had to stay one more night in the flames of purgatory. And before we get to the end of this video, as we're here talking about Padre Pio, I thought about sharing a letter he wrote on July 15, 1913, one of his spiritual daughters, in which he gave her valuable advice regarding how to act in relation to her guardian angel, locutions, and prayer. Dear daughter of Jesus, may your heart always be a temple of the Holy Spirit. May Jesus increase the fire of his love in your soul, and may he always smile upon you, as he does on all the souls that he loves. May Mary Most Holy smile upon you during all the events of your life, and abundantly make up for the absence of your earthly mother. May your good guardian angel always watch over you and be your guide on the rough path of life. May he always keep you in the grace of Jesus and hold you up with his hand so that you may not hurt your foot on a stone. May he protect you under his wings from all the deceits of the world, the devil, and the flesh. How consoling it is to know that we have a spirit never leaves us even for an instant, not even when we dare to sin. And this heavenly spirit guides and protects us like a friend, a brother. But it is very consoling to know that this angel prays unceasingly for us and offers God all of our good actions, our thoughts, and our desires if they are pure. For goodness sake, don't forget this invisible companion, ever present, ever disposed to listen to us, and even more ready to console us. Oh, wonderful intimacy! Oh, blessed companionship! If only we could understand it. Keep him always before your mind's eye. Remember this angel's presence often. Thank him. Pray to him. Always keep up a good relationship. Open yourself up to him and confide your suffering to him. Be always afraid of offending the purity of his gaze. Know this and keep it well present in your mind. He is easily offended, very sensitive. Turn to him in moments of supreme anguish and you will experience his beneficent help. Never say that you are alone in the battle against your enemies. Never say that you have no one to whom you can open your heart and confide. It would be a grave injustice to this heavenly messenger. Humble yourself before the Lord and trust in him. Spend your energy, with the help of divine grace, in the practice of the virtues, and then let grace work in you as God desires. The virtues are what sanctify the soul, and not supernatural phenomena. Pray out loud as well. The time has not yet come to abandon these prayers. Support the difficulties you experience when doing this with patience and humility. Also be ready to suffer distractions and dryness, and you must not, under any circumstances, abandon prayer and meditation. It is the Lord who wants to treat you this way for your spiritual advantage. Forgive me if I end here. Only God knows how difficult it has been for me to write this letter. I am very sick. Pray much that the Lord may desire to free me from this body soon. I bless you. May you live and die in the arms of Jesus. Well then, that will be all for the video this time. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. And hopefully you've learned a lot from this video. Remember, if there's any suggestion or feedback, please don't hesitate to let me know in the comments below. And until the next one, stay safe, stay healthy, and may God bless you.